Well, hello, everyone. We are so glad that you're with us, and we are so excited. We have Creig Northrop, and he co-leads the Creig Northrop team alongside of his wife, Carla. They have 3 decades of experience. They've been ranked as the #1 real estate team by Real Trends, by Wall Street Journal 3 times, and he is the youngest guy to sell over $1 billion in his career. He has been an individual. He's been a team leader. He's had the opportunity to own a brokerage. So he's done it all. So Creig, welcome.
Thank you. Very excited to be here, Chantel. How are you?
Doing great. So I want to first start by, I feel like a lot of people right now are getting a lot of objections. So I want you to role play with me. For the seller side, people are like, I just don't feel like now is the time to sell my home because I have an interest rate of, 2.5% to 3% on my home currently. And I don't want to now go into a 6 or 7% home if I want to move. And that's one of the biggest objections that we're getting for sellers. How would you handle that?
So I want to kind of clarify this. There's a lot of pent-up seller demand. Obviously, the marketplace is pent-up seller. Number one reason is what you just said, right? They have a 2 or 3% interest rate. They don't want to go into an 8% interest rate. The neat thing about it is the last 6 weeks, we've had lower interest rates coming. We're in an election year now, right? So the thought process for a seller is look, now you're starting to get in the 5s and 6s. You're going to start seeing them change that mindset. Right now, it's not as far-fetched as it was a 5% delta difference. So I think first thing you need to do is educate them on the market, what's going on. Interest rates have come down. And what's going to happen in this marketplace is a lot more sellers are going to come on the market, and they're going to ultimately lower your values when that does happen. So you might as well take advantage. Warren Buffett says the richest man in America, when people are selling, you buy, and when people buy, you sell. You do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So therefore, the better time to sell is before everyone else does, and everyone thinks spring. So you really want to get out the gates prior, and with the interest rates coming down, should help that conversation automatically without even having to role play it. But I do agree that role play is the most powerful thing you can be doing with all your brokerages.
Okay, so all right, let's just role play with me and you. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to say, listen, I have a 2.7% interest rate on my home. I don't feel like I should wait. And even if I do want to sell because this place is really too small for me, don't you think the spring, everyone says, right? Don't you think the spring is the best time to sell?
Right. And so ultimately, nobody's questioning that. May is our best month in real estate. I respect that thought process, and everyone knows that. So while everybody knows that, right now, you're at, let's just say you have a $500,000 house, right? $500,000 house, understanding that you have a lower interest rate, and now we've gotten interest rates around 6%. So yes, I understood that concern. It's changed a little bit. Why don't we talk about, look, if I can get you another $50,000 right now, and I could still have you move out by spring, then would you do it now because I have no competition? I just sold your neighbors down the road. I just made them, you saw the crowd that came in. You saw the open house. I had 100 people through that open house. And by the way, they got no contingencies, no home inspections, no appraisals, and I got them $100,000 over asking price. So ultimately, at the end of the day, it would be beneficial for the delta difference of your loan that we could easily make up the dollars in what we're going to get your value of property. Because again, just like anything else, you should sell while no one else is selling. That's the key to the value.
Got it. Okay, now I'm a buyer. Shouldn't I wait for the interest rates to go down? Like right now, I'm seeing them start to go down, but I've heard that they're going to go down even lower. So I want to wait until it goes down even more.
So I tell you to date the rate, marry the house, divorce the landlord, right? So ideally, that's the conversation. Right now, the rates have come down. But here's the deal. As they come down, more and more buyers are coming out. So, and obviously with the low inventory still, the challenge is this. If you want to get a home inspection right now, if you want to get, protect your value by getting appraisals, it's more likely to do that now while you have less buyer demand because of less inventory than you would waiting. Because that interest rate of 1% delta difference could cost you the difference of competing and spending $10,000 or $20,000 over asking price, where maybe right now you could get it for the asking price.
All right, I'll give you another one. There is too much uncertainty right now, like with everything going on with the economy and the stock market's volatile. Is now the right time to buy or sell?
Is the right time? Absolutely. I just went to a seller's house there yesterday, and they were so excited that within a year I got them appreciation. We're still appreciating. Value of real estate's the best investment. You can't live in a stock. You can't worry about economy of scale because the home is a home, your most valuable asset. And what I found or what I know in our markets, we're averaging 5 to 7% increase of equity in a home within the first year. So the longer you wait, the more you're risking that. And like you said, you can always refinance when the rates come down anyway. So you always have that ability to do that. Matter of fact, our lender will give you a one-time time to do that when it is the right time to do it. So why not enjoy your home, love your home, and enjoy the snow. We have snow out here today. Enjoy the snow in your new home. And then when the rates do come down, refinance the home and honestly watch the equity grow for you. It's the best way to make financial wealth in the United States of America.
We have decided that we want to just sell our house ourselves because we've had a lot of luck with that in the past, and on online websites, like we can put it on Zillow and put it on, homes for sale by owner. And we just always have had homes that people want. So we're thinking about selling it ourselves.
I think that, listen, I respect that. Totally a choice if you want. I know I've talked to a lot of other sellers that felt the same way you did. And guess what we said? We said, look, the market's able to pay my own fee. There is no cost. The market will pay it. And at the end of the day, if I can get you what you want, do you really care what you pay me or if you pay me at all? Because at the end of the day, that's the goal I'm going to give you in this market. I can give you the value you want, still get paid, and still achieve the goals you want.
Will you reduce your commission or share part of it with me if I use you to buy a home and to sell a home?
Well, I always have an opportunity where I call friends and families where we can kind of work together if you're going to list and buy. But, that's something we do is negotiable. We'll talk about it at the time.
Okay, so tell us, what is that plan that you guys have?
So it's just a plan that just kind of talks about, I don't want to get into commissions kind of conversations, but ideally it's just, there are always incentives to be able to work with both sides because you want that agent to work on both sides. Here's why, especially with everything going on out there. You want me to represent you on the buyer side, help you get that great opportunity. And if you're buying first, especially because then I got to help you get sold, and the buyer and the agent's going to look to me, especially if we're going to do contingencies, which again have come around. Actually, I've seen a little bit more contingencies. They'll trust me more if I'm selling you a new house and I've got to sell your house as well. That would be the kind of context you would be really talking about there.
All right, last one. I would love to work with you, but I have to either work with my aunt who's in real estate, my best friend's in real estate, and my 10th cousin is in real estate. So I feel like I need to use one of them. I've heard great things about you, and I know you guys are a wonderful team, but I just feel like I need to use a family member.
Because we're number one in your areas, we're the main reason why your aunt, your friends, your family would all understand that you went with us. Because at the end of the day, if you go to another agent that just does what I call the typical 3 Ps, they put up a sign and put them less and they pray, then ultimately they won't understand because they could do the same thing. But we're here at Northrop Realty, which is the realty brokerage that I own. We do everything. We're a full service brokerage. We do all kinds of things. They're not going to cost you really much more money. I'm going to gain you a lot more money. And so we can gain you more money. We'll be happy to pay your aunt or referral if indeed that is the case. But I assure you, your friends and all your other neighbors and aunts you've dealt with have all had the same concerns you have. But at the end of the day, they always thank me later, as I tell my kids.
Love it. You're so good. Okay, so now let's switch gears. Right now, a lot of our agents are saying, I feel like I'm making 10 calls a day or 20 calls a day, and I'm either not making appointments or the appointments are just not going anywhere. and they're not transferring to sales. That everything I'm doing, I'm kind of feeling like a hamster wheel. I'm doing the calls. I feel like I'm doing some of the activities, but I'm not making the sales. What advice would you give to someone who's...
I think the first thing you need to do, and it's funny when I think about this question, the first thing you need to do is, would you buy from you? Would you sell with you? First of all, you should call you. Call yourself. Listen to your voice. Listen to your voicemails. I actually do that. It's a training I do out of comfort zone with my classes, right? So I have a Pernone class called Out of Comfort Zone. I do it for my brokerage, right? We have over 400 agents. And so one of the drills is I actually have them call their own voicemail. Then I do a drill where they all call, I'm a buyer, and I get a call from them. I want to hear them. See, I think you should do all that before you just get on and pick up a phone. The problem with real estate right now is there's a lot of, sadly, untrained agents out there. And so because they just get a license and they just think, hey, the world's easy and let's just do it. They're the ones that are kind of hurting the calls because it feels spamish. And that's what my seller said, it feels spamish. So if first and foremost, get your confidence up, get your care up, and then make the call, right? So that's the first thing. And be consistent in your message. But ultimately with that, when you make the calls, I think, first of all, if you're making 10 to 20 calls, you're doing something wrong. It's called accountability mirror. I always say it goes back to you, right? It's your fault. Why? Call your mother. See if you can close your mother first. Close somebody first so that you have the confidence to continue to call. Does that make sense? Don't just pick up the phone and just think you're going to do that. Call a past client. Call your seller and try to reposition the price. Call a buyer and get an appointment with them. Call somebody warm to lukewarm your cold calls. Don't just go cold. It's very hard for somebody. I've been a player. If I didn't have a football players and all these players, I'm a big Raven fan. But which is going to win the Super Bowl, by the way. But
and I love you. You're like one of my favorite people. But my least favorite team ever is the Ravens. I do not, and the Eagles and the Ravens are my least favorite.
Well, you're happy the Eagles are out. So Ravens are going to keep you up at night. I apologize. But let me tell you this. You don't just go Ravens, go call. Ravens, go do the game. They warm up. They rally first. They get their momentum. They get their attitude up. They get their excitement. Then they make calls. Let me tell you this. Energy is contagious, right? Energy is contagious. If you just call up a buyer or a seller, you just go, hey, I'm Creig, how are you? Please just list with me because I don't know, I'm calling you. I mean, it's not the lottery. You're not playing the lottery. Somewhere we're dealing with human emotions with souls. So have a soul in calling and have a purpose. Have a purpose. Know the property if you're calling on a seller's property. Do all the background on it. Make sure it's not relisted. Check it all out. If it's a buyer call, make that buyer call interesting. So what I mean by that, a lot of times with our test, you guys will leave like 25-minute messages. I can't listen past a 2-minute message. So I'm not sure what you're saying, but you're not going to close a deal on the phone, in a text, or on email. Your goal of all three of them is to get that in person, period. End of story, nothing more. That is the task. And the task is tease the task. If it's a buyer call, hey, I've got some credible information and some more other information for you about some other ones. Why don't you give me a call? That's it. Oh, you want to see a house? When would you like to see it? I had a guy, $3 million call. One of my agents got the call. It was a Zillow call at the time. All he said is, when do you want to meet? It was a $3 million call. That's it. It's not that complicated. We all make it complicated. We think we got to sell on the phone. You guys talk. You talk them into a sale and talk them out of the sale in the same conversation. I'm sorry for you. But that's what happened. You need to shut up. Nothing personal. You need to shut up, say what is needed, and let them talk. Be that, listening person. I call it a listening appointment. And then let them tell you where you need to go next.
Okay, so some of our agents are like, I really don't want to make the phone calls. I just really want to text message everyone. How would you respond to that? And what would be a text that has worked for you in the past?
So I would think, first of all, if you don't want to be on the phone, you will not want to go see somebody at the house. I mean, that the phone is a safe venue. It's actually one of the safest venues because, yeah, you can get rejected over it, but you can get rejected by showing up on the door. You can get rejected by a text. But in a text message, let's talk about text. We have a guy in my company that literally texts his clients every day with some kind of message, right? And it's not every one of them. He'll take 5 a day. He'll just check in with them. How are you doing? Whatever. I think they're great texts. Here's the thing that I did. We have a snowstorm right now where I'm in Maryland, by the way. So I do in Maryland. And in Maryland, when I had the last snowstorm, I actually say with text, the problem with text is, first of all, they're not personal. So they're not as personal as a call because I can't hear the energy and I can't get the feeling that you care over a text. So that's the first problem, and you get misconstrued. So I disagree with that as an introduction. I don't think text or email are good introductions. I think a call or actually face-to-face is the best. But back to this. So here's my challenge for all of you guys, real quick. It's a fun little storm challenge. When you guys get stormed, where are you centered at?
Our corporate office is in Virginia, but we're in 20 states.
Gotcha. But where are you?
I'm in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach. Excellent. So you don't have this weather, I don't think. No, it's not cold.
It's cold, but no snow.
Well, snow is good for us because people are home. They answer the phones, things like that. So what's really kind of cool is we can get them all on the phone right now, or text. So what I do is I go on my text, I go back up to a year of people, and I'll just follow the conversation I stopped at to go, hey, how's that new home going for you? Or, hey, I found some new inventory for you. Or, hey, just checking back. Are you ready to sell now? Things like that. I'm just sitting my life. The thought process is a lot of it's to check in. Texts are really meant for check-ins, optimally, or when can we meet? But so then what I did, so here's the test. Go back and text. Everyone has texted you for the last year. And do not answer any of them until you hit 50. I did 50. You can do 10. It's hard. It's a hard task. I did 50. Up to 50, people responded before.
Okay, so hold on. I want to respond. I want to stop right there for what you said. Because here's what I'm hearing people say. They're like, I made 10 calls today. I hit my goal. Check. And it's like, how many ratifieds do you have? How many sales do you have? None. But they're like, I hit my 10 calls. I hit my 20 calls. What I just heard you say was you wanted 50 responses. It wasn't how many. You didn't say, I'm going to hit 50 texts. Right. You're like, I'm going to keep going until I have 50 people who have responded back. Now, they could say, go kick rocks, but at least it's a response.
Right. I don't care what the response is. I want 50 of them. And then the funnest thing is like a roller coaster. You're going up, you're going up, you're going up. And all of a sudden, then you get to answer them. And it's the funnest thing ever. Like, in the end, it's just like kind of cool because now you got 50 people talking to you. And now all of a sudden, everything just happens. Guys, it's motion creates emotion, right? You got to be in motion always. And if you're in motion with whatever you do, if you're making 10 calls, here's the problem with the call. Hello, I got you. Hey, it's great. Give me a call. Bye. Did my job. That's not a job. That's just a bad representation of a sale, right? Your job isn't to make the call. Your job is to convert a call. It's called an RPA, revenue producing activity. If it doesn't produce an appointment, it's not really a call. Amen.
So like for you, you would be suggesting, I love that, RPA, revenue producing activity. And you would be saying, okay, I want to be getting at least 5 revenue producing activities per day. Or someone else might say, okay, I'm going to do 2 revenue producing activities per day.
Yes. And that's what I call sold goals for my agents for a month. They have to post contracts. We have a leaderboard in our offices. They have to post that. That's part of what their accountability side is. Accountability, though, starts with you. Again, I can tell you whatever you want to hear, or I can show you. And stop talking and start showing your numbers, right? We're proud about our numbers. It was a tough year. We were proud. We put them out on Friday to everyone. We had a big thing in Maryland Live, which is a big casino here in Maryland. And so it was, we were proud about what we did and how we did.
So let's talk about like call nights. So
yes.
would you like if we wanted to do, say, a Zoom call night, what would that look like? And I love what you just said, like the managers really should be kind of listening in on these calls. On some of them, that you can put people in groups. And, even for Zoom, you could kind of like have everyone show that they're making calls, they're holding each other accountable to doing it. Kind of describe, what does the call night look like, and how does that feel?
So we have call nights, and what we do is we invite offices, and it could be I actually like a Zoom call night would be really cool. That was something that we just talked about prior, but ideally, I think you could do that with the way you have 20, different states. But for me, it was gathering them in, and I got them in each we did them each offices, and we had a goal of 10. You had to get 10 appointments, and no one traditionally left till we got to 10 appointments. And then when we got to 10 appointments, we all went to a happy hour, right? We kind of rewarded yourself, because you gotta reward the small wins. A small win is an appointment. I mean, great job getting. Now, ultimately, if you're finding that the person is not getting any appointments, a manager should sit with them and let them, hear what they're doing and why they're not getting them, because you got to find out the why or why it's not happening. Okay, that's the first thing.
You tell me a couple things. Tell me a couple things, like when you've listened to people, give me the top 3 things that you've seen and you're like, duh, no wonder why you're not setting any appointments, because of this, and this. What are those 3 things?
Well, I think the first thing is the lack of confidence. They're stuttering. They're not. It feels like they're just scared of the phone. Okay, and that can come through very well. That's the first thing, is confidence, right? 2, you got to show some kind of empathy/care. You're calling cold people, if indeed this is the cold call conversation. You got to care, and then you got to be consistent in your message. Let me make this very clear. You see the C under Creig. C. If you take the C out of close, you lose the sale. I know it takes you a minute. Now,
I got it.
Let me do this. If you take the closer, because I call them closers when they sell 3 houses every month, right? So the C, if you drop the C's, being care, consistency, and confidence, you're the loser, right? But you lose the sale, basically. The R is regret. Because the problem is that we live in so much regret after we hang up the phone. Make it very clear. If you hang up the phone before you get what you want, they closed you. You got to decide who closes who before you go in. So I will coach them. I'll show them how I do it. I'll just pick up the phone. I can call anybody anytime. I have no problem with it. It's a natural thing for me. So I call and talk to them. I'm talking like I've known them forever. Matter of fact, I'll have fun with them. Check it out. How are you? It's having a day. Let's go. And you know what? I heard that it's house. I'm sorry you didn't sell it, but you know what? Where are you moving to? Why are you asking? Because I'm already sold your house. I'm just waiting to come over. But look, let's talk about it now. Look.
Oh, I like that. I've already sold your house. I'm just waiting to come over. That's a good line.
Guys, it's a lot of that.
You said there was care, consistency, and what was the third one?
Confidence. And I have none. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. So when you're hearing them, you're saying, okay, you're not hearing the confidence on their phone. They don't have the energy. That's the other thing, is just missing that energy, I think, is so huge. Talk about that.
Energy is contagious. You are responsible for the energy that you bring to any room, and the energy you bring to a phone call. And the energy, you can actually have energy in a text, depending on how you do it. You can have energy in an email, but ideally it's on the phone and walking into a room. My challenge to all of you guys, when you talk about branding, I always brand at the University of Maryland, which I'm a big Terp, but is walk into a room without a name tag and let people know your name. That's true branding. You see, at the end of the day, that's the goal. And so that's been my goal when I was 18 years old, started in the real estate business. It was when I built I was number one just in single agent. Then it was my goal being the team leader. I wanted, if you're going to do it anyway, why not be the best? Then we became a broker called Northop Realty, and we became number one broker, specialty broker in the United States of America. That's because, A, you got to have goals. B, you got to have the energy. And you got to be excited about what you do. You say, I just love to do what I do. That's it. And so it's contagious. My agents are contagious. Sellers want to list with me because they're like, I had 5 other agents. I don't even remember their name. Guys, don't even go to the house. Don't even make a call. If you can't even be memorable enough to let them know who walked in their house, it drives me nuts. I tell my agents all the time, I will sit my agent down and say, you weren't memorable. Why did you even walk in a house? So one of my agents called me on one day and they said, I don't feel confident enough to get this listing. I said, well, where are you? I said, she's outside the house. I said, okay, I'll be right over. So I go over the house and we're sitting in the car. I said, what's the problem? I don't feel confident in walking in this house. I said, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to crank the radio up and we're going to gin up the energy and then we're going to be ready. And we did, and she got the listing. So sometimes it's that simple.
I want to tell you, one of the reasons why I joined and I just love Canzel is that I can get 100% commission, I get revenue share, and I get stock. I am making thousands of dollars every single month in revenue share and stocks, and I now don't have to work nights and weekends on real estate anymore. You know, I've actually never been to a real estate agent's retirement party, and I want to be the first one that people are coming to at a young age. And I want to share with you some of my favorite resources. So if you go to joincanzel.com/free, there's a couple that I want you to download. One is a 20 free lead generating PDF. It's going to help you generate leads for free that you can download, as well as there's one on how to double your business. I don't want you to miss it. Go download it today. joincanzel.com/free.
So good. I love that. I think that all of you guys, I want you to type that into the chat right now, that energy is contagious. Motion creates emotion, and always, you want to always be staying in motion and kind of getting yourself up there. So this has been wonderful, Creig. Tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you.
Sorry, Creig Northrop, C. Northrop at NorthropRealty.com is certainly, is how you find my email. NorthropRealty.com is my website. You can find us there. I do 7 states. I'm in 7 states, and we have 17 offices. Very proud of our 400 agents. Really one of the tops in the industry. All on the East Coast. We're in the East Coast. We love your referrals. Listen, we didn't get to referrals real quick. Finish up with that. Listen, I love the referrals. You want somebody to take care of it. They want to take care of your parents. That's us, Northrop Realty. We got you covered in the referral market, and would love to work with all of you.
I love it. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.